Let's make sure that everything is set and in order. There we go. There we go. There we go. Welcome, guys. Welcome, 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 welcome to another episode, right, of the Melanated Files Podcast. You guys may see something different right now. Those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, you may notice something a little bit strange. And that strangeness is the absence of my wife because she's not here today. She had something to do this morning, so she will not be on this episode, sadly. Okay? No one is more sad than I am. Okay, I know some of you guys come on to watch Jay speak and stuff like that because I know y'all don't want to see me, okay? You guys see me enough, I think. But she's actually not on today. She'll join us again next week, right? So she'll join us again next week. And if for some reason I'm not available, she'll be here and we'll get it done regardless. But guys, this is another episode again of the Millennial. This is a. What's going on with my mouth this morning? So, guys, this is another episode of the Melanated Files podcast, and some of you guys may have noticed that we started including the YouTube Melanated Files interviews on the podcast as well. So we announced this last week, so you'll be able to see both, or listen to, I should say, both the discussion as well as our MFiles interviews, the audio version, the podcast versions on the podcast as well. It will be a mix of past episodes and current episodes as well. So each week you can expect a few different episodes to listen to. Okay, so I see people have joined us. So there's something I want to talk about, and it's I shouldn't be. I feel like I feel like it's gonna be very controversial. First of all, you guys may have seen the title. Have you guys seen it? I'm not sure if it's showing up. The title. Let's see if it went through. Of this episode, and it's been something that's been on my mind. And the reason why it has been on my mind is that I've been having these conversations. I've been having these conversations for a while, like like in different countries, like with a black woman primarily. And I think, and it's been on my mind, and I had a conversation at dinner with someone. I think it was my family and this person, maybe a week or thereabout ago, maybe 10 days or something, a week maybe. And this conversation came up, this topic came up, and we went deep, right? We went deep in this issue. And I've had it with other people as well. And I'm like, man, as I said to you guys, this is a solution-driven podcast, right? We're driven by solutions, right? That's what we're about. We try to find solutions to the problems that affect the black community globally. So that's what we're about. Discussions, and hopefully we don't stop at discussing these issues, but move to a place where we can remedy them. So that's what we're about. So this this might be just part one because I don't want to really tackle this without my wife, even though most of the conversations I've actually had is in her absence. I want to talk about it a little bit, and then I think maybe next week or the next time she join us, we will dive even deeper. And I want you guys as well to really be a part of this discussion because I cannot have it without you guys. Can you guys see the title by any chance? I'm not sure. Do you guys see the title? Because I'm trying to, for some reason, I can't see the feed on my phone. It's not even there. I see. It's not there. Okay. Wait. Let me try to update this thing real quick. Where is the? Yeah, like I just realized that it's actually not there. Let's see if I can push this across. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess I can't. Okay, for some reason it won't go through. Anyways, I'll just tell you guys what the topic is, and it's gonna be a bit controversial potentially, and it's about I entitled this podcast episode "Black Love," and I was saying to myself I wanted to maybe try to find a way to like maybe just not talk about this and talk about something else, but for some reason, for the last, as I said, just random conversations, especially when I would ask a certain question, it would start, this discussion would open up, and then it's sort of a conundrum for me, and I'm sure there are going to be people who are watching right now who are going to have solutions and suggestions and theories as to why this thing is happening. So let me just get to it, because I'm kind of just being ambiguous, and you guys are like, "What are you trying to say?" I want to have a discussion with you guys who are watching right now. You guys see the number on the screen. The phone lines aren't open yet. I'm gonna open them just now. And this podcast broadcast may go on for maybe hopefully no longer than 60 minutes. Is part one, and this discussion might be something that other people may pick up as well. It might be something that we'll continue, because I really want to find a solution. And this is what I've been thinking when I speak to black women, right? There seems to be this thing where when I ask about like dating questions and stuff like that, where they seem to desire black men. Like that desire is there, but for some reason, from what they've shared with me, it's like there's a disconnect in terms of them trying to connect with someone, or they are available, but for some reason the men don't seem to be available. It seems there's a like I don't know, like it's not connecting. And I know it might be controversial. I've heard different stuff, things over the years, and I've read different things over the years and seen videos and stuff like that. So I know it's something that's pervasive, and I really want to start a discussion to try to find why that is. And I was talking to someone, what was it, like a week ago, as I said, at dinner, with my family and this person, and we were talking about, like, because I'm solutions driven. So if there's an issue, I want to find a solution. I'm not a person that's caught up with the problem too much. Yeah, you can think about the problem, like Einstein said. The reason why he did what he did, or accomplished what he did, was because he stuck to the problem a lot longer than other people. Some people gave up sooner, but he said it's not because he's smarter, but because he stuck to the problem a lot longer, why he arrived at a solution. And this is what I'm saying. Right, this is what I'm saying. What I want to do is this. I feel like black women feel a certain way, and then I guess some black men feel a certain way, but I guess I can't really identify with how black men feel with this issue, because I've actually really never actually spoken to black men about this part. I guess because my mindset is I don't see any issue whatsoever. Of course, I love my black woman. There's no disconnect. There's in my mind, there's no issue whatsoever. Of course, you guys know, my wife, and I have a daughter as well, who will grow up one day to become a black woman, of course. And so there's this disconnect. So I know I feel like I'm kind of walking on eggshells right now, because I know this is controversial. I'm pretty sure. To me, it's not really like that, but I'm trying to like express the way I guess that I felt with hearing these conversations, because I feel it. Like I'm like, is there a disconnect? Because based on the conversations that I've been having with the women, they seem to be open. They're looking. They want to find this person. Nothing. I see nothing wrong with these ladies, and I'm saying to myself, man, like, can I do something to help? I'm not sure. Like, what's the issue? Because they're here. They're there. They're everywhere. They're available, and the men, I guess they're also available, I guess, as well. But for some reason, they're missing. You get what I'm trying to say? It's like they're missing it. They're not finding each other, kind of thing. There's a lot of single black women, and then I know this is controversial, man. I'm really trying to hold back myself a little bit, because I'm like, this is gonna be like so controversial. I'm just like, am I even ready to talk about this? I'm like, am I even ready? Because that's why I want to be the mediator, right? I want to be the mediator, and what I want to do is, on this podcast, I don't know if anyone is gonna call. I doubt it, maybe, I want to speak to a black woman and a black man as well. Preferably single, but it doesn't matter. Um, on the podcast, and this is what I want. I would like to see black men and black women in a room, right, where the black woman can speak about how they're feeling, like truly, like truthfully, not don't try to put up a facade on either sides, and just like say exactly how you feel, what you think the issue is, what some of the talk about some of the challenges that you face, like why you think things appear to be the way they are, and then black men do the same thing, what they see, what they feel, what they think. And I think if both sides could just release whatever it is that they're thinking, whatever it is that's within them that's holding them back, whatever that is, I don't know, because it's hard for me to I'm grappling with this reality or this thing, because I'm like, man, it's so deep. And the reason why I'm talking about this, because I talk to a lot of people, as I guess you guys can imagine, and I'm like, man, like this is a thing, like I'm like, so as I said, I recognize patterns, and I'm like, this is a thing. I'm like, this same thing is coming up from like very different people in different countries. And I'm like, I'm scratching my head, because I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, there's a problem. And I don't know what the solution is, but I would love to find a solution. But what I think is, if the women feel the way they feel, and they believe the men feel a certain way or act a certain way, then I think it may also be assumption. Because if there's no dialogue, right? If you can't get both parties in a room to have a conversation, to really bare their hearts and just talk about whatever it is, like in the room, not separate, not assuming what's going on this side of the divide and that side of the divide, because I don't think we can get a solution. And someone recently, they were asking me, they're like, because I when we had dinner, they said they said, like, I was like, I gotta figure something out. And like, I think it was a couple of days after, they were asking me, like, okay, did you come up with a solution yet? I'm like, I'm like, this thing is so complex, like I don't know what the solution is, right? Like, just to show that the person was really, like, I guess they really believed that I could maybe come up with something, and they were really interested in finding a solution to this thing, where black women want black men, and it seems like there's a disconnect there, and it's kind of hard. So this is what I've noticed, and look, the reason why, look, I know I haven't seen any comments yet. You guys are probably saying, I don't know what you guys are saying. I hope you guys can hear me, but I don't want to read the comments just yet. I just want to kind of get this out, because I just feel like it's gonna be like one of those super controversial things. And then I feel like I'm not judging anyone, and I don't want people to think that as well. And that's the next thing. I feel like some people inevitably may be offended just because of my personal thoughts or my opinions. And that's the way it is. Like, someone could just have their own opinion. Someone could just have an opinion about A, and someone has an opinion about B, right? Or whatever the thing, or someone's take is A, someone's take is B, and just because they have different opinions, it causes a rift. Not that you are opposing A or B or whatever the case is, but you're saying, okay, well, I'm A and someone is B, and then just because of that within itself, the difference itself just causes a rift. It's not that you're demonizing A or you're demonizing B. That's not the case, and that's not what I'm doing. But some people are going to see it that way regardless. But let me just put it out there so there's no assumption that I'm not demonizing anyone. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm just talking about an issue that I've actually seen. And I feel like, because for some reason, as I said, I try to be observant. And when I see all these things happening, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to talk about it or something. Because I'm like, why? During this period of time, the last maybe 3 weeks or a month, it has intensified. Like I'm having these conversations a lot more, and I'm like, okay, like what is really going on? I'm like, man, and I can't understand it. So I think for me, I'm like, if we can get a discussion going where black women can really talk about how they feel, and black men can do the same, maybe something can happen. Maybe the misfire can stop, and we can understand what's going on and what the solution is. Um, because and there's another side of it as well where I know this is gonna be controversial and but I gotta say it, like where so black women say they want the men, but um something the men that it's oh man, this is y'all see me stressing out, right? Y'all see how deep this thing goes. Like it's this is like yeah, it's the what I've noticed as well, and I've done this because I've heard these conversations. And for instance, when I see a black man, a successful black man, as I said, look, listen to me, please. I'm not demonizing anyone, but I'm making an observation. Take it for what it is, an observation. Just like the motivation behind the work I'm doing with repairing the image of black people globally. Um, when I was growing up, as I said to you guys, I was looking for role models, and I never really had any. Right, black people that were doing things that I wanted to do, or people that were doing things that were really positive. Like around me, there was a lot of negativity, so I had to go outside of where I was to find the things that I was attracted to. I'm not talking about a person here. I'm talking about people that were driven, or people that within the black community that were doing things that I could aspire to as a young man, not even a young man, as a boy growing up. So I'm always looking for examples, and that was one of the motivation behind what I'm doing, and even the evolution of what we're doing, which is repairing the image and really inspiring people to show black people what's possible, and to inspire people to do more. I've also noticed that whenever I see I this is a problem because I understand this would be a fallacy because I don't have the statistical like I don't have the statistics to prove this. So my observation is limited, right? So this might be I can't come to any conclusion because it's going to be fallacious. I really don't have all the data. So there's no way I can say this is a fact because I've not conducted any studies or whatever. But whenever I notice this, or in my conscious mind recognizes something, maybe I just miss the ones weren't that doesn't fit the thing that I think I'm noticing, which is when I see a black man, right, at the helm of a company and organization that's really making waves, that's just doing things, just going places, and just he's doing stuff. Usually, when I look to the right, I would see another woman that's I'm look, as I said, I'm just making an observation. It's like I'm like snap. Most of these guys that I see, like the woman to the right is not doesn't look like them kind of. And I see it. And I'm not judging anyone. And with the and I know some people are gonna be offended. I can't, but especially because like my wife is black. I know it's like people are just gonna be like I'm being condescending, or I'm doing all sort of stuff, and that's not the case. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so hesitant. You guys can hear that just the way I'm speaking, because I know that some people might be offended. And it's just the way it is. But I have to talk about it because this is just this part is just an observation. So I'm not. So as I said, I can't. I'm not sure what black men or the black men that these women are talking about. I'm not sure about their perspective, so I can't speak from that perspective, right? Because I don't. I'm not. That's not me, so I don't get it. So I'm actually grappling with both sides because I can't see it. This cohort of black men that they're talking about, I'm not one of them, so I can't. I don't have their perspective, so I don't get it. Then the woman, I'm not a woman, so I don't really get it, but they've articulated it to me, and the conversation that I've had has only been with women. For some reason, when I'm talking to black men, this conversation doesn't come up, so I don't know, we talk about something else. So I have zero knowledge about what that side feels. That's why I wanna talk about it today. And for instance, the richest, is it the richest black man in America? Maybe, I'm not sure. but the billionaire, his wife, I believe, is not a black woman. And I've heard conversations when I'm speaking to the black women, and they're saying different things to me. And there's an interview that's coming out that might be a bit controversial as well, but it's coming out. Of course, I'm talking about the MFiles interviews, and then there's something that someone kind of, I guess, touched on the way she felt or her experiences, and you'll see. I guess you get an idea of what she's saying, and some of the things that she has observed has not it's not only her experience, which is weird because she's just one person, and then another person who's completely different that they don't even know each other has like a very very similar experience. And I'm like, and even in another country, and I'm like, and this place and that place, I'm like what's really going on? I'm like, okay, there's something that's going on. So for me, being solutions driven, I'm like, you know what, okay, I don't know what the solution is because I can't identify with either side, but it has been articulated very well from the black woman's perspective. I don't know what the black men are thinking in terms of their minds, the ones that the black women are identifying. I'm not sure what the thought process is. I'm ignorant to that, believe it or not. And so my thing is like, if I can get both in a room, in a place to actually really talk about it, just man to woman. You understand? You sit down, you have a conversation. Is this what we're feeling? Just let it out. This is what I'm feeling. This is what this thing is. And then they also on the next side can say, well, this is what it is. And whether or not the situation can be remedied there, at least there's a conversation that has been started where both sides are involved, and it's not in a hostile environment. It's an intellectual discussion, of course, a very civil discussion where people can really express themselves without fear of being judged. And talking about this thing in a way where we can actually have a discussion, not just a discussion for discussion's sake, but a discussion that will drive to a solution that will be beneficial to those who would like to be in a certain union. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Might be controversial, you know what? But for some reason, as I said, I noticed patterns, and for some reason, this conversation has been going on. I've been talking to women all over the place, and I'm just like, okay, I don't get it. And like, so I'm like, is it that the black men don't know that these women really really want them, or what's? Let's see what you guys are saying. I don't know what you guys are saying. I can't see. There's like so many comments going on right now. I'm not even sure what you guys have been saying, but I'm gonna open the phone lines, and I want listen, guys, look. I'm gonna open the phone lines, right? I want y'all to call. It's gonna be one person at a time because I can only talk to one person at a time. So, like, preferably, I want it to be a black man and a black woman. So when you call, I'll get your perspective from a black woman, your perspective, and then a black man can call and also give his perspective. And maybe going forward, we may have a discussion, like a panel discussion or something, where I can actually have multiple people on talking about this thing, because it's just been like all over the place, coming to me consistently, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta do something about it. And it wasn't even in my mind at all to even talk about it, because I'm like, what could I do? And I'm like, you know what, the best thing to do is like, maybe I could start talking about it on the podcast, who knows, and then maybe something can happen. But yeah, let's talk about that. So let me just open the lines. So let me just see if I can see some comments. I know you guys are just going off in the comments. Sorry, I just wanted to get this out because I never want to be distracted or whatever. So bear with me. And y'all can see, like, I'm like visibly stressed out by just even, yeah. And if you call as well, please be respectful, because if you're not, I'm gonna disconnect you without mercy. So if you're gonna call, let's engage in a discussion. I'm gonna let you talk, right? So you can just let me know how you're feeling. Let the people know how you're feeling, and don't hold back. You don't have to swear, please don't. But just express yourself to the fullness. No one, you can call us anonymously, so no one will know who you are. We can't see your number, but just put the information out there, right? We get that, then the next person will call and they will put the information out there, and then maybe something can happen. Because I don't even know why. This is what happens usually in my life, where certain things that I do, I'm just kind of like led there. I find myself in places, I'm like, why am I even talking about this? But for some reason, I'm just going with the flow. Yeah. So let me open up this thing. So the lines are open. I hope I. There we go. Hello. How you doing?
Greetings, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
This is Wise Movie.
Hey, what's up? One second, guys. Can you hear Wise Nubian? Let me just make sure that they can hear you. I just want to make sure.
Okay, no problem.
Um,
Let me turn up the speaker on my side too.
no problem, guys. Let me know. Can you hear the caller, guys? Well, I think I should wait. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Okay, P saying yes, they can hear you. Okay, good, 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 good. He's a little bit low. Okay, hold on. So it's
Okay.
this one. Let me turn this up. Okay, Wise Nubian, can you speak again? Let me ask them. Speak again,
Yes,
please.
yes.
Okay,
How are
guys.
you?
Okay, okay. It got. Yeah,
Somebody said they can barely hear
yeah,
you.
guys. Can you hear me? Now? I just turned it up a little bit. Let me know if it has improved. I just turned it up again.
Yeah, I don't want to holler as I talk to you. I don't want to come off aggressive. I just want to be pleasant and mild for you, the sake of your show,
Yeah.
and hopefully be clear about everything I'm talking about.
Okay.
He says it's a bit muffled. I'm not sure what to do. If I turn up my PC, it may
No
mess
wait.
up the phone line. So I don't want to do
Oh
that.
no 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 so no no I got all the controls. Don't worry. I think this is better now. Just a little bit higher. Okay. Someone says he sounds perfect. Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Okay. Yeah. So
first of
please,
all,
we can start.
I want I want to congratulate you on the interview you did with the guy who did the beauty contest. You was very neutral and respectful and polite to that guy. It was incredible. I
He's
really
amazing.
admire
No, he's
how
amazing.
you,
He's an amazing person.
huh?
He's an amazing person.
Yes, well, you're an amazing person the way you carried it because I have a lot of respect for you and how you handled it because I know certain things can be very difficult, but you had such a mild respect and acknowledgement of him. It was actually incredible to me. That's just my opinion. I look at you like a family member. That's why I say the things I say.
Okay.
But let me get back to where I originally. We have a extreme, and this is throughout the diaspora of people of color of darker skin descent, whether it be in the islands, whether it be in the motherland, whether it be in Western countries. And the problem is they are raised, men and women of color are raised to go against each other, whether it be a subconscious attack upon men of color through our beautiful women of color, through the way they upbring us and raise us. And a lot of times men of color end up being the way they are because of what the mother has put in their mind. The content of beauty is strangely straight hair or blue eyes or light skin or thin lips or any of this that we have learned has usually came from the female part of our ancestry, whether it be our mother, grandmother, sister, cousin, auntie, whatever. And a lot of men of color, I excommunicate myself from that. I tell you that right now because I like an organic, natural woman with natural hair, no makeup, full lips, parting of the teeth, dark, dark, doubly dark. I love it. And I can't wait to find a beautiful queen like that. But back on the subject, a lot of men of color have been color struck based on the teachings they have received from my experience or the years I've been on this planet. They have received that from, unfortunately, the female part of our family. So when a man of color brings home a Caucasian, light skinned woman, any of that, usually it's because someone in that family, a female, have told them, don't bring no dark skinned woman, don't bring no a woman if she's darker than a paper bag. It's ridiculous, even in the islands. And you know of other races how it is. Our people are so gloriously beautiful, and the darker, the better, the sweeter the juice. When I, some of the women that I've seen on your interview, I fell in love with them. But it's a double standard. I'm just being real. It's a double standard. It's like we will love and love and love, but sometimes we, men and women of color, are walking contradictions. First, we love our people, but we can't work with our people. When we work with our people, then we are very highly critical of our people. And anytime a man and woman of color working anywhere in America or Western countries, it's the hardest. When Jim Crow law was in place in America, people of color grew the most because they had to work together. But when you're in an area where everything is integration, it makes things very difficult. One of the highlights that I've noticed, you and your queen in Japan, you all have to work together because people of other races will respect you, but you are a distance to them. You are a foreigner to them. And if you don't love yourself, they're going to notice that. They're going to see how you depict your own self and how you look at your race. So this is why a lot of problems among our people, in my opinion, is the way it is because us, have never really truly learned how to love themselves. You have to love your melanin. You have to love your smiles. You have to love your intelligence. You have to love your ancestors. You have to love who you are. And you have to show it in every detail of your being because it's imperative because every other race is observing you and how you conduct yourself on how much you respect, care, and love yourself. Before we was black, we was Nubian. Before we was colored, we was of color. We are the only race in the entire world that have multiple colors that represents our race, and we have the features. I ain't talking about integration either. I'm talking about various different pigmentations, full lips, wide nose. We are extremely beautiful. And it's like everybody gets it but the original. The biggest thing with my people of color, especially the women, they have to love themselves. Once they love themselves, then they can love their men. People say, well, I just that a lot of men. The men you're talking about are not men, sister. Anytime a man look down upon a woman of color and don't see the beauty in her natural beauty, he ain't a man. He's a male, and that's it. So we have to remember, original man loves his dark-skinned Nubian original woman. And I love it. And anything that mixed with my woman of color, I love it more because you just can't beat it. Imagine seeing a woman that's half Japanese, half Nubian, half Chinese, half Nubian, half Korean, half Nubian. No matter what they blend with, they look so good. I'm just being real. The chocolate, the berry, man, I would love to have a chocolate woman darker than me with me. I saw this young woman. She's young, but she has a natural hair, very introverted. I think she's gorgeous. But you can't even come and tell a woman that, at least in America, because they always think there's something wrong with you loving someone too much. Then you become a stalker. Then you become all kind of other stuff because you're praising what they're not really receiving. That's my attention. When Panther came out and the Collier and all these different Nubian sisters is on that, man, I was in chocolate heaven. I was just like, I was smiling so much rather than my mouth hurt because I love the sisters so much and our Nubian people and working together. And that's what we need to see more of. The more we see it, the better we are. I hate it when they part us up with high yellow women or very bright women with dark skinned men. It's a way of trying to stop us from being who we are. I guess I'm gonna get off the phone. 'Cause I see people in the chat wanting to call in. I just wanted to share that with you. I want to say more. Maybe if you have a little time, I may call back in so other people can get a chance. But
Okay.
I have a lot to say about this. But I want to respect you, Reza, and what you're doing. Okay?
Yeah, no problem, man. Like, I'm in listening mode, right? I spoke for a while, so whenever someone calls, I'm not even gonna be asking any questions. For the most part, I'm just gonna be listening and letting the information get out there, so those who are actually watching right now can receive what you're saying, and whoever else will call. So thanks for calling, Wise Nubian. I appreciate what your thoughts, and we're gonna let someone else on, and let's see what they have to say as well.
I say respect, young brother.
No
Keep
problem, man.
yourself high and brilliant.
All right, thanks, man. Take care. Okay, guys. So that was Wise Nubian. I see. Okay, so there's a missed call from this number starting with 413. So the lines are open now, guys. So like you just gotta like jump on it. There's another one from 510 that is another missed call there as well. And there's another one from okay. So just whoever it is that want to call, hopefully the next person, please. Can I get a black woman to call now so that we could? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Hello, you're live. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live.
Hi, do I have the. Wait, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Is this Ranzo?
It is Ranzo. Yep. Oh, I know. I should probably say that, right? Hey, what's up? It is the Melanated Files. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Oh, sorry. It's just that the video that I'm watching right now is
It's
quite out of sync with
it's
the.
delayed. So yeah.
Okay, wait. Alright, sorry. I have to take out my headphone because, like, the video on YouTube is, like, really out of sync, and I'm hearing your voice
Yeah.
on the
So
phone, and then
just
the
focus
earphone.
on me. Yeah. Just focus on my voice on the phone. Just ignore the screen. Just focus on the voice that you're hearing on the phone. That's real time for
Right,
the most part.
right. Right. So sorry, if you could just like lead me in the right direction of this conversation. I'm very, very interested in everything that you've spoken about.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is like my first time like having this kind of conversation on the phone like over YouTube. So if I seem a bit nervous, that's why. But
Yeah. I'm
I just
terrified.
wanted to give my
What's your name, by the way? What's your name?
my real name or my
No.
YouTube name.
Well, whatever name you want to give. I need to address you by your
uh,
name.
so you could just so my YouTube name is Honest T Rant,
Honesty Rand. Okay.
or you
Okay.
can just call me Honest T. That's
Hon-
just my nickname. But yeah, I don't
Honesty.
want to give my real name.
Yeah, okay. No, no, that's fine. That's totally fine. I get that. Yeah, so the conversation, so this is what's going on. I've been having a lot of conversations lately with black women primarily, where, like, just conversations. Like, I'm interviewing people, I'm talking to people, not just in Japan, all over the world. And it seems like, and this is, as I said, I just noticed patterns. So I realize that, man, I'm having this conversation with black women a lot where they're talking about, like they want, I guess that's a strong word, but yeah, they desire like a black man, right? So but for some reason they seem to be missing, so there's a disconnect because they can't, for some reason, it seems based from their perspective that they want the black men, but black men don't want them. So I've been hearing this, and it's been
Mm,
communicated to me in different ways, right? And sometimes the men that they attract is a certain type of way, and all different and different things. And I feel it because I'm like, the reason why I started to take note of this was that it happens. I'm like, these conversations are happening all over the world, and by very different people who don't know each other. I'm like, okay, so in my mind, since I'm the person, I'm of course I'm the common denominator, because I'm the person that's like, talking to all these people, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? So because I don't share the perspective of the cohort of men that they're talking about, I'm like, man, I need to do something about this, because it seems like the women feel this way, but the men don't know that they feel this way. And maybe the men feel a certain way,
mm,
and maybe the men feel a certain way that the women don't know that they feel that certain way. And it seems like there might be hostility sometimes, or something. There's a misfire somewhere. So I'm like, you know what? We need to have a discussion where the men can talk about the way they really feel, and the women can talk about how they really feel, and maybe by putting those feelings in the air, something can come of that. So there can be a greater understanding, and then a solution can be had. I'm driven by solution. Every single problem that exists right now, there is a solution for it. Some of them we just don't know them yet. So that's why I'm opening the phone lines
mm,
for people to call in to give their take on what's your perspective on why there's an issue where it seems like there's a lot of single black women, and they feel that black men don't want them, and so I want both
okay, yeah.
perspectives. So that's where we are.
Okay, okay, gotcha, gotcha. So my perspective might be a little bit different from the person that you just spoke to. I'm 23 years old, so I'm a younger guy. So it might not be the same, but I
No,
can
it's
definitely
just
get
yours.
like
I
based
want to hear
on.
from you. So just focus on your perspective. I'm not judging anyone. I just want to hear the different perspective. That's what we're doing. So it doesn't matter if it's
Right,
different or not.
right. So I come from a predominantly black family. Most of my family was born in a country called Belize. Do you
Okay.
know that, or are you
Yeah,
familiar
in the
with Belize?
Caribbean, right? Yes.
Right, right, right. So it neighbors Guatemala and Mexico. So I can start with my mother, for example. So my mother, she married. So my mother was born in the United States, but her parents are from Belize, and my father is from Belize, and his parents and everyone before him, they're from Belize. Essentially, when my mother was going out with my father, she received a lot of criticism from black men, African American men born in the States. And what she got was like, oh, you're only dating him because he's a foreigner, like you don't want to date one of us. Like, it was kind of like she was being teased and made fun of because she was dating my dad, who was not from this country. And in their minds, they interpreted that as her being like uppity or being snobbish or not wanting to date her own kind, so to speak. And I can't really say that was the case for her. I just know that she liked my dad, like she loved him for him. But that being said, fast forward a few years later, my mom and dad had a divorce, and my mom was treated quite poorly by my dad. Like, at least that's what I noticed growing up. And so I feel like, sorry, I'm kind of like jumping over the place,
That's
but
okay.
I feel like that divorce and, all of those negative experiences that she had really kind of fortified like the idea in her mind that black men do not want black women. Now, it also doesn't help the fact that my mom grew up in the States, in a country where black women are constantly devalued by men of every race, quite commonly, and unfortunately even from black men as well. But I do want to say that my family is unique in the sense that they always have their spirits up. Like they always try to, keep an optimistic outlook on life as much as they can because having parents from Belize, they didn't really have this concept of race and like all of the tension between the different races and like all of the dysfunctionality that's introduced into black families and all of the strife and things like that. So in that regard, their mentality was just very, very different. And this kind of led to some disconnect between my family and the black community here in the United States. And so, having said that, like my mom didn't necessarily have that. Well, she over time, like from what I understand from her point of view, she kind of started to gain this idea that black men don't want black women. But that being said, though, because she had a family who was from a different country, she had that going for her so that she could work against that toxic mentality. Because really, a lot of it, as the last person said on the phone prior, really starts in a household and how people are raised. And that there's a long history behind why people think that way, why people are raised to be that way, and so on and so forth. And the really unfortunate part is, from my perspective, is that it doesn't even come from a bad place. It's not really to like. I mean, this is just my 2 cents. I could be wrong, but I personally don't feel like this is coming from a bad place. Every parent does their absolute best to raise their child in the best way they possibly can, and that means keeping them safe at all costs. So sometimes that can be kind of misguided, and it can kind of feed into different mentalities and different narratives. So I guess, yeah, I guess like, just talking about my mom, like it's kind of frustrating because like on the one hand, my mom, knows, like she knows that she's worth a lot more than how my dad treated her, and she knows that not all black men dislike or don't appreciate black women, but also, she knows that this is not the truth. But at the same time, though, she had this horrible experience with my father. She had some pretty unpleasant experiences with other black men, and this kind of like just fed into her biases, which she tried to really, really not give into because again, having been brought up from by a family who was from a different country, it was like she was, her she was struggling like going back and forth between two different mentalities, like the one common narrative that black men don't like black women, and then the other narrative which is more common to her family, and people believe that like, okay, everyone's just people, whatever. But yeah, so my mom, she really, I can tell like she really, really struggled with that, because it's really interesting, because like my mom has dated other men after my father, and it's just interesting to see that struggle, that going back and forth between the mentality. It's like on the one hand, my mom like talks about black men like, oh, black men will date anyone besides a black woman, or black men will do, all kinds of things to a black woman because he knows that he can get away with that, and he'll trash her and she won't leave him, like blah blah blah. She's just bashing black men. But at the same time, most of the people that she has dated are black men. And so it's really, I guess, I don't know how to describe how I feel about that, but definitely there's like a tug of war between the different mentalities in terms of like how my mom feels about how black men view black women, and especially her because she's a black woman. I'm not really sure if that made a whole lot of sense. I
No, he
kind of
did,
jumped
but,
over the
no,
course.
and I understand what you're saying. The question is, do you think that do you think there's a solution? Like, what do you think a solution is?
Oh my god, yeah, absolutely. So I want to say this. So going to my personal experience. So I'm gonna make this about me really quick. I'm an engineer right now. I just graduated college. I'm a software engineer, and I make really good money. And I do work with in the place I work in. There's seldom people of color, and I've only met one African American female, and she is one of the nicest people that I have ever met. And she has like a very vibrant attitude towards life, and she's just very welcoming and very friendly, and it's just really such a joy to be around her. I bring her up because talking to her, I can tell that she doesn't have the same outlook on life, or the same. She doesn't really, I guess, have a chip on her shoulders, so to speak. Like she doesn't really feel like black men really have anything against black women, even though she has heard that narrative and that story many, many times before. It's not that she doesn't believe it. Like she totally knows that is a thing, but in her personal life, she does not feel that because she has a black boyfriend or a black fiance, and he treats her very well. So
Wait,
I
just
use her.
wait, one pause real quick. Someone is, I think they think you're a Caucasian, but you're not, right? So someone just
No,
wrote that.
no,
Someone's like, oh, oh,
no,
he's white.
no,
I'm like, no, his mom is black,
no,
his dad
no,
is
no.
black from the Caribbean. He's a
Do
black
I
man.
do I sound
No, you
do I
don't. You
sound like
don't.
this?
You don't. But I guess because when you made the distinction that at your place of employment there's only one black person, so they thought you were maybe making an observation, like like, but it's independent
Oh,
of yourself, so that person is including you as well. So I think that's where they got confused.
oh shoot.
But
Oh
yeah,
no, I'm black.
yeah, but just continue.
Yeah.
Guys, be patient. I see some
Right,
people are
but
saying we want a solution. Guys, just hold up. We might not arrive at a solution on this episode, but we'll definitely we're setting the groundwork, I guess. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
right. So for me, I used her as an example because, I mentioned her fiance and how well she's treated, but really the solution for me personally, I believe needs to be, and this might sound very cliche and cheesy, but I believe the solution needs to be love. I believe that we need to have more love, empathy, and compassion towards one another, because one thing that I found with a lot of my friends, because I would say like half of my friends are black and a lot of my black friends are women. They they came from, I guess, a background where there wasn't a lot of dysfunction. And unfortunately, you can't pick the family you're born into. I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but unfortunately there is a lot of dysfunctionality within black households, and this is true of my family too. And that dysfunctionality kind of, it just opens the doors to a whole hodgepodge of a lot of other problems, including certain mentalities that are detrimental to the growth of black women and black men. So it's not it's not really like a one quick, and I mean this already. It's not really like a one quick solution where it's just like follow these steps and this will happen and everything will be fixed. But really, like, it needs to be like, I guess black. I feel like black men really need to step up to the plate and really like show their appreciation and compassion towards black women, because my whole entire life I have always been told to respect women, to give them my best impression. I mean, to give everyone my best impression, of course, but to especially make sure that I am very respectful to every woman that I talk to, and that is what I have done all my life. But I I have met girls who, and they're nice girls. Like, they were nice to me. They were very kind and nice to me. But it was kind of jarring because I would be like really really nice to them, not because I'm like
Mhm.
infatuated or like I'm trying to like do anything like to make them feel uncomfortable. I That is just me being my default self. And they would kind of like feel uncomfortable like that. Like, why are you acting so weird? Like, why are you doing that? Like, blah blah blah. Or I would like tell them how pretty they are, or like how beautiful they are, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for the most part, they would all say thank you, or like, they appreciate the compliments. But then there were like maybe the number of girls I've had this interaction with is like something I can count on my hand. But they would not like, they would feel uncomfortable by the compliments. They would feel
Wait,
like,
someone is
why are
asking.
you?
Wait, 1 second. Someone is asking. I think it might be this. Might be pertaining to the female, the woman you're talking about. What's the age group of these women? In their 20s, like
So
what?
she's like in her young 20s. She's an intern.
Early 20s.
She was an
Okay.
intern at the place I worked at, so she was
Okay.
probably like 21 or something.
Okay. 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 Continue. Yep.
Right. So basically, like, I would try my best to uplift them and make them feel good about themselves, but it was like, because they were so used to being talked down on and to being mistreated, it was almost as if to be for someone else to be so nice to them was almost like foreign, almost like an insult. It was like, just like, they were so, I guess, I think, and it's unfortunate because life, well, personally, I think life beats us all down to some extent, some more than others. And to be honest, I can understand like where those girls are coming from, because I have lived a pretty difficult life, and even I know what it's like to be in that mentality when life is just so miserable that when somebody actually tries to be nice to you, it almost just seems like it's disingenuous, like it's not real, like it's something that's just like, no, 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 like everything has gone wrong in my life, like there's no way this person is really this nice to me. And I think, unfortunately, there are a lot of black people, not just black women, but just black people who have gone through so much more crap than everyone else, that to be that for something just so opposite of like malicious behavior, something so nice and whatever, can be kind of almost unbelievable. And I
No,
don't mean to say that
I think I
as a way.
understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really know if I have like a time limit, so if
No,
somebody
yeah,
else
no,
wants to
yeah.
talk,
Well, I'm looking at the screen now. I just realized that my cam battery is at like half, which is going down pretty fast. But but yeah, it's well. I just maybe we can come to a conclusion before I before I move on to the next caller, just so you can complete your thoughts.
yeah. So, a solution, I guess, would be like in this case, really, man, there's so many things that need to be done. I can't really think of a solution, but I really, I don't. I think another part of it is cultural. Like, I don't know. I don't really know if it's like, if it's really, because if I think about like the black culture in terms of like how the relationship between a man and a woman is. Like, it's so common for for men to mistreat women, and for there to be so many single mother households, that it's almost become a part of the culture. A very
Mm.
negative culture, but it's almost like something that's become synonymous with black culture. And I don't think obviously nobody wants that, but we really have to start consciously thinking about how to go against this culture, because so many times when I'm hanging around my black female friends, like just a bunch of them, like, and I'm the only guy, like just the only guy, it's almost like common for a lot of my black female friends to, like, just talk about black men, like make fun of them and blah blah blah. And I mean, I know it's nothing malicious because half of them have black boyfriends, and like, again, it's nothing malicious, or at least nothing intended to be malicious. But it's like that's part of the culture. It's almost like, oh yeah, so this black guy, this black dude, blah blah blah, he's so this, he's so that, ha ha ha. And I
But
mean, I'm not gonna lie, the jokes are funny, but we have to understand that this is coming from a place of some truth. Like there are some truth to these jokes, and that's why it's funny. So it's so ingrained in our culture, like, make fun of black men. So black women make fun of black men make fun of black women, and it just goes back and forth. But like these kind of jokes can harbor some resentment towards the other group, and I think as funny as the jokes are, I think we kind of need to leave some of that behind. I mean, I don't mean to come off as
no,
like,
no, I understand. But let me ask this one thing before we move on. How do you feel about black women personally? Like, what's your take? Like, what's your inner workings? Your thoughts?
I think black women are amazing. I think black women are pretty much the reason why humanity exists. My mom is a black woman. I mean, we started in Africa, and women bear life. So I personally, my best friend is a black female. My other best friend, who's my cousin, is a black female. Honestly, most of my humor comes from her because I spent the first 10 years of my life growing up with her. She was like my ride or die. So personally, black females, I guess, have, for me, played an integral part of my life. I don't really know how to answer this question without sounding too cheesy, but personally, yeah, like whenever, sorry, not to go on a tangent, but to answer this question further, because this is something I recently started thinking about, I try to go out of my way more to make a black woman feel comfortable, especially in settings like my job where it's predominantly white males. I try my best to go out of my way to make her feel more comfortable in that setting, because I'm uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure she feels uncomfortable, but I'm pretty sure she feels even more uncomfortable than I do. And I just want her to succeed. I want her to succeed in a place where, unfortunately, I don't think many people want to see her succeed. So I want to be there to uplift her and make sure that she feels comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, and you guys need to stay there and get more people in that, because we had an episode about black people in tech, which I think is very is an integral part of just moving forward. But so maybe another time you could talk more on black people in tech. We could go deeper on that. But honestly, thank you so much for calling, man. I'm gonna see if I can get a black woman on and get their take on this. And I think this might be this might just be part one, because it's so deep, and that I can't even cover it on one episode at all. But thank you for your insights, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank
No
you.
no problem, man. Take care. All right, bye.
Yeah.
Hello, you're live.
Hey, Renzo.
Hey, finally we got a black
How are
woman now. How you doing?
I know, right?
Okay,
I'm
okay.
doing pretty good.
All right. So what's your take?
Um, just to give you like a really quick overview on me and like where my opinion would be coming from.
Okay.
So I'm 24. I live in Atlanta in the States, and I grew up in a two-parent household. Both of my parents are black, fully black.
Hmm.
Um, so like my perspective on this thing is completely different because I never had to live the quote unquote struggle life. So I've never had to experience like being with a single mom or having an absent father. So my opinions are completely different than someone else. And plus, I hate to say this, but I'm an attractive person, so I've always been able to get men, whether they're black, white, Asian, that's never been my problem. But for the topic at hand, I feel like our disconnect is just a long history of being, how can I say this, like disenfranchised almost. Like the sole purpose initially was when we got here to slavery was to break up the family home. Because if you have a strong black male in that role, actually doing what he's supposed to do, which is to protect and to provide for his family, then it's going to be hard to kind of get in there and break up the family unit. So that's definitely one of the problems. And then also, social media is a really big one because if all you're seeing is attractive black men or attractive black women with people of different race, you're automatically going to subconsciously think like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be being with someone that's outside of my race. And then with that being said, colorism is definitely a problem because you see plenty of memes either talking about a dark-skinned woman, a light-skinned woman, a dark-skinned man, like, oh, dark-skinned men are supposed to be this tough, rugged type of person versus a light-skinned man. They're delicate, they're sweet. And same thing could be said with dark-skinned black women. They're supposed to be like these rough, hood type of people versus the light-skinned woman when she's more docile. So, of course, no man that wants a traditional family unit, he's going to go for the more docile versus the aggressor, which, unfortunately, many black women have been portrayed as this rough, rugged type of person when that's not the case at all. And then also just white is seen as wealth. Whenever you see someone of a certain stature, they're automatically seen with a white woman. Like there's plenty of actors who are dating white women or exotic women. Just like your example was of a billionaire at Morehouse, he paid like the graduating class tuition, and I was like, oh, that's dope. Like a black man's giving back to his community. He's helping out other black men. That's awesome. So when I really went to go dig into him, he's engaged or married to a white woman. So I was like, whoa, you were doing so good. You were giving back to the black community, and then you're married to a white woman. So that's kind of very disheartening, especially when you want to support them so much, and then that you see they're not with their counterpart, which I think is crazy. And then just we're not protected. As a class of women, black women are definitely not protected. You see us being beaten as far as by another man of race. Like you'll never see a white woman being beaten by a black man and white men just standing around recording it. Like that'll never happen. But you see it all the time with black women where we're being beaten by a white man and black men are recording it. That's completely chaos to me.
Wow. Um. Wow. Yeah, it's well, I know for a fact I wouldn't stand around and see any woman at all being beaten. Like almost anyone, regardless. I don't think I'll just stand and just watch. Especially when injustice is being done. Like I'm not that type of person. Um yeah. Probably would get myself in
It's just,
trouble. It's very possible. But
but it's just,
but
unfortunately, it's just literally a history of
but is that a
women.
But you know what? The
Hmm?
thing is, I'm reserving what I'm doing right now is I'm really just letting you guys talk, right? I'm literally just giving you guys a platform to just speak, because I'm not necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with anything. I know like you said some things as well, and I already gave my sort of preamble to explain to people that I'm not judging anyone. Like if they whatever the thing is, I'm just making an observation. Like the billionaire guy that I spoke about earlier was I just made an observation. Like as I said, I notice patterns. I see it. I'm like, okay, this seems to be something that happens. I'm not sure what the root cause of it is. I may have some theories, but I'm not sure. And then someone can fall in love, which is very very possible, with a person. That's also possible as well. But what I was just saying is just that for me, I see this pattern and I'm wondering why. I'm like, okay, like, I would like to just get an idea of the thought process, or was there something subconscious, or was it just like, what, I fell in love with this person, and that's the way love is, right? You fall in love with a person, you fall in love with a person. That's just love, right? And then, but see this observation, and I'm like, okay, okay, I see it a lot. I'm like, okay, well, okay, I see it a lot. So I just see it a lot. So I'm wondering why it. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I see it, and I'm not sure why it happens. Like when someone is wealthy and they're doing a lot of things, I'm always excited. And when I look to the right, I'm just wondering. I'm like, okay, another one. I'm like, okay, nothing is wrong with if someone falls in love with a person, but I'm like, it seems like it's all the time. I'm like, okay, so I'm noticing a pattern, and I just want to just understand it more. Even to some people, they might say it doesn't matter because it's just love is love, right? So some people would say, well, you don't need to understand it. It's just what it is. But yeah, but that's something that I've observed. I've noticed it. I'm not sure why. But I just want. What? There's someone calling while I'm on
It's
the line. Come on, guys. But I just wanted
honestly, I
to
feel
let
like
you speak.
it's not really a why. It's just something that's happening. Unfortunately, it's been going on for so long that we haven't really had a chance to figure out what the problem is or why exactly it's happening. There's many reasons to why it's happening. Unfortunately, our history started with breaking.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hi
Oh,
there. I'd like to
oh my,
participate in your show.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Um,
What's
Wait,
the
wait, no,
problem?
no. The thing is, because you're calling while someone was on, so I was literally trying to like disconnect you because the person wasn't finished yet. So it's like I'm on the line and you're calling at the same time. So I was trying to disconnect to the wrong person. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. What
Um,
do you want me to do?
Oh no, no, the person that just called. I'm really sorry. Like that was accidental because the person that's on the line right now called twice. I saw this number twice and I disconnected it the first time successfully, but the second time I accidentally disconnected the other person. Forgive me. That was not intentional. That was not
Okay.
intentional. But since you're
No
on, let's just
problem.
talk. No, let's just talk since you're on. So the person, please don't feel insulted. I was literally trying to disconnect it, so forgive me. That wasn't intentional. Can I have your name, please?
My name is Nita.
Nika.
Yes.
Okay. What's your take, Nika?
I just think that the black man in the United States, and maybe elsewhere, I live in the States, I live in California, San Francisco. I believe that the black man dates or marries other women of other nationalities because they don't feel seen. They don't. It's a way of them feeling that they belong in this culture and in this society. It's a way of assimilating, and they make the once they make the money, or even if they are not making the money, just even if they want to survive in this society, they feel like they need to become something other by marrying or dating women of other nationalities. I don't know, and there is also a point of um, hatred, against black women because of who they are. They hate a part of themselves, and even though they have mothers and sisters and family that are black women, they hate that part of themselves. It's the part that's denied by this culture.
So you're saying is that something that's conscious or is it subconscious?
I think it's subconscious.
You think it's subconscious?
I think it's their survival. It's a survival mechanism for them, unless they truly know themselves. Those black men that know themselves, they're open to dating other races, but those black men who don't know themselves, they deny that part of themselves.
Okay, so wait, you're saying black men that knows themselves, they're open to dating anyone, right? That's what you said, right?
They're open to, well, some of them exclusively date black women because they love themselves, so they love that part of themselves. They can love a black woman, but those men who are so disconnected from the self, there's no way that they want to have anything to do with a black woman.
Okay, see what you're saying. What has your experience been like personally with black men?
Personally, personally, I only have dated. I'm 35, so I've only dated black men. I was married to a black man, and now I'm in a relationship with a black man. That's my choice. I have nothing against men of other cultures, but I want a man who knows my experience as a black woman in the United States,
Okay.
in this world. You know,
Understood. It's the things I'm really trying to like reserve my opinions because there's so much information I have in my head from conversations,
I want to hear your
which
opinion.
is like other people's experience that I'm like, I I just want to be just the intermediate. I just want to be the mediator, not even the mediator. I just want to be just the host, just getting people on, and just or the gateway, so to speak, so you can just get your voices out. So people are watching. Like most people won't call, but at least they can maybe hear something like your take and say, okay, but I do understand something that you just said, like personally, like when it comes onto the struggle, 100%, like I get it. You know, for instance, my wife, I don't have to explain certain things, right? I can, she understands, right? She understands. She's black
Right,
as well, so she
exactly.
gets certain things. If I come home and I'm like, oh, this happened, like she understands exactly what I'm going through, and she won't question the integrity of what I'm saying, or if I'm like imagining things or whatever the case is, because she understands that. So I get that part. Being in a relationship that I'm in, so I get that part. Um, there's yeah, so I get that. I get that. I get that.
Well, that's great because black love is a beautiful thing. It's amazing and it's beautiful. There's men that I have as just friends, and they all tell me, the ones that have dated like exclusively out of their race, whether it's white or Asian or Hispanic, whatever, they all have a reason for only dating, and then there's a reason that they turn back to a black woman later, maybe later in life though. And I think that has to do with their maturity, or maybe it's their state of mind.
Okay. I think love is beautiful. And the thing is, the reason why I'm talking about this because I was like so reluctant to have this conversation because I'm like, man, it's gonna be controversial. I know some people are gonna be offended. It's just the way life is, and I'm like, man, but I'm like, I've been hearing this so much, and it's crazy because it has intensified in the last little while, and I'm like, okay, like why? For some reason, I'm having dinner with this person, or I'm talking to this person, and this conversation is coming up, and I'm like, all the time, I'm like, okay, maybe I need. I'm like, why is it coming up so much? So because I understand love, I believe to a certain extent, and how beautiful it is, which is just love overall. I'm not saying just black love alone or whatever, but just love, as it is. And then, but I realized that there's this group of people who seem to not be getting that experience and that love because of some type something that some disconnect. So I'm like, how can I do something to see if a conversation can be had or a greater understanding can be had between both groups, black men, black women, and hopefully something magical can come from that. So that's what I'm actually trying to facilitate right now. That's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully, I don't know if it's gonna work, or at least starting a conversation is my goal.
I think there's many stereotypes about black women, and there's also many stereotypes about black men. But
Yeah.
once you get to know someone for who they are, I don't care what race they are,
Yes.
then you are able to see their heart,
True.
and then that's where love can start to grow,
That
no
is
matter
true.
what race they are.
That is very
You know?
true. That is true. Like people fall in love. Like it's a thing. Like you understand. Like sometimes you don't plan on falling in love, but you do, right? So it's a thing. It happens. Like that's just the way love is. And as you said, when it comes, like yeah, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, pink, or purple. You can fall for a person, and it just happens. And once you really love them, you really love them, and that's it. That's
I
it.
want to make one more comment. Yes, you're right. And I want to make one more comment, and that is
Yeah.
the last guy that you had. I really appreciate his comments. I want you to notice something in his conversation. He said his friend, or the woman, his coworker that he works with, he really respects her. She's really nice. And he made a comment that she doesn't have a chip on her shoulder. Why did he need to say that? Because black women have the stereotype of having a chip on their shoulder or
Mm,
being angry. But I know so many women of so many other cultures that have terrible attitudes. But that's
okay.
not what people see them for. But if you just notice, why did he need to interject that? And that's because that's the stereotype about black women, which is not true, you know?
Okay. Okay. But thank you so much for calling. I appreciate your thoughts. And someone else is calling
Very
as well.
welcome.
Yeah, someone is
Very
calling. So
welcome.
I'm gonna go on and see what they have to say. But I guess they disconnected. But thank you. I'm glad that you decided to call because you have a perspective as well that I know will add to this or contribute to this discussion, and hopefully, I think we can do something about it. It might be deep, but you know what? Just this conversation, I'm pretty sure some people are listening to it and they're thinking and saying, okay, well, let's see. Because that's what I want to do. I just want people to just be honest and just say exactly how they feel and share their personal experiences. And then just by putting that information out there, hopefully it will do the work that it needs to do. So thanks for
Thank you for
calling.
the opportunity. I appreciate it. Bye
No,
bye.
no problem. Take care. All the best. Okay, guys. I know this. I think I saw like two. Again, I want to apologize for the person that got disconnected prematurely. Is this them? It might be her again. Hopefully. Um, Hello, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Hi.
Hi, can I get your name, please?
Hi. Yes, Tanya.
Tenu.
Tanya.
Oh, Tanya. Tanya. Hey, Tanya.
Yes.
What's your take?
Yes. Hi. I'm sorry?
No, what's your take?
Okay, so my take, this is just my opinion, my experience, my views.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is new. I'm glad that you're having the conversation because I think it needs to be had. But
Mhm.
I don't think this is a new thing of black women feeling like black men do not prefer black women. I think even Malcolm X, what he said, the most unprotected woman is the black woman. And I love Malcolm X, but I think that was it's kind of like victim blaming because the attention really needs to be okay. Why are they being unprotected, and why are black men not protecting these women? So I
You,
would have
you want?
preferred if
Okay. I want to explore that. I feel like I want to explore that. But let me hear what you say you prefer, and then I want to explore that a little bit.
okay, yeah. So I just feel like it should be said like the person who is not protecting these black women is the black man. The most, I don't know, fill in the blank is the black man. Why are we always focusing on the black woman? I think we get just everything thrown on us to a certain extent, of course. There's, of course, exceptions to every rule. I'm not saying all black men are bad. I'm not saying all black women are good, vice versa for each, you know?
Mhm. Okay, okay. Let's explore that for a second. You said so that term when it's like the black woman is the most unprotected woman. Can you explore that? Give me give me exactly what that means. Like, could you explore that for a second? Is it like what the caller before said, where it's like some black men would actually watch a black woman being abused?
Yes.
Is that the only interpretation of that? I'm just asking.
No, that's not the only interpretation. I think that going back in history, just I may be wrong about this, but this is something that I've looked up and that I've heard from a lot of women growing up, black women, educated women,
Hmm.
is, we don't put the fault on the black men as far as the African, I guess, Atlantic slave trade. Like,
Oh, I see.
for years before, black men, supposedly, because I'm not 100% sure on this, and you can correct me if you know if I'm incorrect,
Hmm.
black men were selling black women to Arabs and other races because we were before, we were the most adorned women, so these men were paying. So basically, starting sex slavery. That's our
I
history.
see.
And I think we don't dig that deep. We just talk about, just these last, couple hundred years of slavery, which all people have had their turn at slavery. So we need to stop just putting that on black people like, oh, they're slaves. I guess we were considered the last ones, so that's probably what's fresh in people's minds. But I think it's unfair that we leave that part out of the story. And
Well,
I think that,
that would be news to me in terms of the being specific, like them, because I've heard as well where like Africans were selling like black people were selling other black people, like it was because
yeah,
I've not verified this, so guys, don't quote me. Like, don't quote me. This is just kind of like when you just hear something like a Chinese telephone type thing. Like I
Yeah.
just hear something going around. So I've not done research deep into this to confirm that. But so I've heard that black people sold black people. I've never heard where like black men specifically were selling black women back then. So I need to look into that.
Yes, I need. I do
I
need
hope
to look
that's I
into
hope
it
that's
more.
false.
And
I
I
hope
just
that's
wanted
false.
to mention that, but I do need to look into that more because I did research it at the time, and I did find some things that I agreed with what the young woman was saying, who I heard it from. But yes, I don't. I can't pull up citations or anything for
Yeah.
anyone.
No,
So
understood.
yes.
What has your personal experience been? And the thing is, I know the issue is not new, but what I'm saying is that like sometimes when there's something that's going on, but for some reason this has come up a lot. Like I had like deep conversations with people, like, and a lot of them has occurred like in quick succession, so it's fast. Like I want this one person today, and then tomorrow another person, and then in different countries. I'm like why, I'm like, so that's why it's kind of on me. I'm like, okay, let me just talk about it. So it wasn't that I'm making this new discovery, it's just that I like solutions. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay, I see this. I'm like, what can I do? Because I'm like, there's always something that someone can contribute, even if it's small, right? If you can contribute a grain of salt, at least a grain of salt, you contribute something. So I'm like, maybe let's have a discussion where, because this is what I was thinking. I'm like, if the black woman, based on the ones that I've been talking to, they like really lovely women, beautiful women, intelligent, educated, all that good stuff, and they desire black men, right? I'm like, so don't these guys know this? Like, these guys are missing out. Like, I'm like, what's going on? So in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like, there's a disconnect. So that's why I'm like, no, something needs to happen where these guys can know what's actually really going on, so they understand that, bro. Like, can you just hold up for a second? Can you pay attention for a second? Because I think you're missing something here. So that's why I'm like, okay, like what's going on? So I'm trying to find out or figure out why the disconnect is. That's why I'm trying to bring like these two groups together to be like, okay, y'all, can you tell them so they know what's going? It's almost like when you like a girl, or oh, this person, come on, person, people, I'm talking on the phone, come on now. It's like when you like a girl, or a girl likes you, and you don't even know that she likes you, so you're acting a fool, and then her best friend maybe just be like, yo, she likes you, like, and you're like, what? And then you start paying attention. So there's a disconnect. So you think she don't like you, but she does, and you want that, but for some reason you're just like, I don't know. So I'm not saying it's identical, but I'm saying it's like, in my mind, I'm like, maybe they don't know what's going on, because I'm like, if they feel this way, how can these guys not respond to it? So that's why I want the women to speak exactly what they were saying to me, and then for the guys to communicate how whatever they're feeling. Because my mind is different. So based on the guys that they describe, I'm like, I don't fit that group. So I'm not sure how
Right.
that group thinks. So I want to get people that believe that to come and say, okay, this is the reason why whatever happens, and then the woman can say, well, this is the reason why, just like you're saying. So that's what I want people on both sides to give their take, so the next person can understand, and then it's not like we're discussing this like in isolated instances where this person don't know what you're talking about and that person don't know what you're talking about. So it's almost like if me and my wife think something different, and she's upset about something and I'm upset, and then if we don't talk, there's no way that I'm like, oh no, you misunderstood, or she can say, oh no, you misunderstood, or whatever the case is, and then we can say, oh, and then we can come to some sort of like amicable solution. So that's what I'm trying to
Yes.
facilitate in whatever shape or form, because I'm all about solutions, and it really, like, it hurts. Like, to be honest, like when I'm hearing these conversations, I really feel bad. I'm like, not even bad, I feel sad, and I'm like, man, I'm like, no, I'm like, why is this? What's going on? I don't get it. And y'all know I got a daughter, and well, I'm in protector mode all the time. So it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So that's why we're doing this. What has your
Yes.
personal experience been like with black
Well,
men?
well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news,
No, no. The thing is,
but
it's your story. Just share it.
um, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood or city town for the predominant of my life, which made me want to go to a HBCU. I went to a HBCU for college,
Okay.
but growing up, I was usually the only little black girl in my class, so I felt that pressure. I experienced a lot of racism, and for me personally, I didn't think anything was wrong with interracial dating. I have dated outside of my race. It's just what I've always been around, so it never seemed odd or wrong to me ever.
I'm not. I'm not.
And
I'm not. Look, I'm not saying anything is wrong. I'm like, I'm literally not casting no judgment at all. So you just feel free to just
yeah,
share your story. I'm neutral in
yeah.
this discussion.
attracted to the black guys. So definitely the one or two that there were there, or when I would go visit family who lived in like a more predominant black area, I would definitely, talk to those guys and, be interested in them. But I think there's this thing in the black community where if you're proper, or you're looked at differently, or that's what they call it, like, oh, she's being proper, she's being proper. So it's kind of like almost like a disdain. I feel like if you were raised in predominantly white areas, so that's kind of what you know and who you are and a part of you. So my experience, I predominantly dated black men, and I'm not really happy with my experience. I can't lie.
Okay.
I believe that there's this it's like there's this game going on where, the gender game, of course, that goes into play. But I feel like after all this trauma, black people, we don't need to play these games. We don't need to play any of these games. We need a come into ourselves moment and, just really show respect and love for each other always on both ends. I can only speak from dating men because that's all I've dated. So as far as black men, I think there's this thing where there's a lack of character, a lack of integrity when dating. It's this belief that, okay, if this girl doesn't know the game, then I'm about to really play her. Oh, I'm about, and it's a black woman. It's like, how dare you? That's how I feel. And that has been my experience. I see little things very early on, and I'm like, okay, I have to remove myself from this situation. And they're almost like shocked, like, how are you going to dump me and I cheated on you only once? And it's like, yeah, no, I don't know. That's not okay. And it's like this thing, and that's why I think black women, we're dying from all of these different diseases because we're overworked, underpaid, underloved, underappreciated, and high for STDs, and we're predominantly only sleeping with black men. I think a lot of these things are not being talked about amongst black men, and I think if a lot more black men come together and say, hey, you know what, you don't treat that queen, everybody wants to call each other queens, and you don't treat that queen that way. You don't treat that woman that way. And it doesn't matter what race. I think men collectively, historically, there's a lot of trauma, and I just think you guys need to do better. Not specifically you,
I understand.
but for the ones that are more educated, and like you have a platform, you're doing something, you're starting these conversations, share it with the men that you know. And I think it needs to be more of this, and more black men taking charge of our communities instead of sitting back. Everyone's tired. Like, everyone's tired. You can't just sit on the couch and put your feet up and play video games. Like, what all the black man has endured. You know what all the black woman has endured, and we stay predominantly by your side. When I dated a white guy, he was Hispanic, but a white Hispanic, and I didn't know he was racist. He had black friends, like, it just never came up, and that taught me then. This was years ago, but that taught me then, okay, I need to ask more questions when I date interracially, because once we got close, it's like he felt comfortable to disrespect black men and say certain things about black men, and that was the end for me, because it's like, no, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Because if we went further, say we did have kids, if we had a little boy, that's your view of that little boy, that's disgusting to me. So
Yeah.
I think black women are in a very peculiar place at this point, because we do want to stick by black men. We do, I think, in the predominant prefer black men. But it's a very, very hard thing to just keep enduring this amount of abuse. When you look at the statistics, the numbers, like,
Tell me, what I want you to do is tell me what you want to see. Like, so for instance, if there's a guy that's listening, or some like black men that are listening right now, like, what would you want to impart to them? Like, for instance, like, what would you want to see? Like, share that.
I want to see them having integrity. I want to see them stop cheating. I want to see them stop lying. I want to see them, really respecting women, really protecting women, being okay that it is your role to provide, to protect, and really fight. Like, I think a lot of black men, or men in general, are afraid to fight. And it's like, okay, so who do you think is going to fight? Me? Like, no. That's really not my place. It's really not. And I'm not saying it's a lower place, but I definitely do think there are differences in genders biologically. There's just differences. And I think it's being put out in like media, like women should be aggressive and fighting all the time, especially in black media. That's what's portrayed, and that's just not true. But if we keep allowing these things, then it will be true for future generations. So I think a lot of men do need to, especially black men, yeah, I know they've been oppressed, and they're like, hey, I just want to get out here. I want to enjoy myself. I want to experience this, that, and the third. But no, you have a responsibility.
What I,
Let your son go party. Do your part. And let him party a little bit more than you did, but still let him know that he has a responsibility, not just to himself, but the legacy that he's, supposed to leave behind.
well, what I think is, and the thing is, because this podcast is geared towards solutions, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if we're gonna move forward as a people, like black people, we have to move
Mm-hmm.
forward as a unit. You understand? So,
Yes.
so both, of course, black men and black women, we have to move like in league
Mm-hmm.
together as a unit forward, right? That's the only way we can move our people. Like everyone has to literally like come together and like and move forward. So definitely it's a
Yes.
team effort, right? And I
Yes.
was I love my wife. I was talking to this we had dinner with this person, a black woman, and I was thinking for a while, and I was saying to myself, and I'm not even you know what, I don't even care if no one want to judge me or not, because people judge me regardless. That, for instance, like in the Bible, let me give an example. In the Bible, like there was a part that said, it's not good for a man to be alone, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I've never dissected that. Like, for instance, you see that, you hear that. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't think anyone has ever really looked at that. I think people interpret that as, oh, well, being alone as in being the only person, like, in a place, right? But I feel like, but based on my experience, like, having my wife and just the different things that she contributes to my experience, and just the way she has enriched my life, of course, vice versa. But I'm just talking about my side, because she can talk about her side, but I'm just talking about my side. I realize like how like important a woman is. Like, not just, I mean, like just it's like a unit. That's how I feel based
Mm-hmm.
on my experience. Like it's just, I don't know. Like I believe personally, based on my experience. Like, of course, I have a daughter, I have a wife, I have a mother, I have a grandmother, etc. I'm a man, of course. I have all like brothers. I got two sisters, mostly brothers. Um, I just feel like, I just see like, okay, like, yeah, we need like a woman by our side, because you guys like really um like are extremely valuable. I'm not, someone might be offended by, even, I don't even know, because sometimes you gotta watch your words, but I'm meaning this in the most, take this as the most beautiful compliment ever. Like, I see it, living this life, and I'm just like, man, like, without a woman, I'm not sure if a man can keep, like, I don't even know, like, y'all really like, so it's important that a man does what he all that he can do to make sure that she's right. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because I feel like, I don't even know if y'all, I found myself that it was really hard for me to articulate this to the at dinner when I was talking to this person, because I don't know, I guess I can't really articulate it, because it's a feeling, it's like a thing that I guess I haven't wrapped my mind around it yet to really be able to articulate it in such a way that someone else can understand what I'm trying to convey. But I just see the importance, like the yeah, y'all are like definitely like the, maybe, I don't even know. I feel like now I'm like, okay, I've got myself in a place where I can't even explain myself properly. But just know that it's, I just see the royalty, I just see the beauty, I just see the importance, the value, the all that, all that stuff. And then without, I think we'd be less. I think we'd be less of this might even sound weird. Oh my gosh, I gotta watch my words. I hate when I gotta watch my words, because I'm like, because sometimes you're trying to say something and then someone might misinterpret it, or you might not explain yourself thoroughly enough that some people might get the wrong idea. But I feel like a
Yeah,
woman
that's
without
always.
yeah, without a woman, I feel like, I'm not single people. Look, please don't listen. I've been married. I've been in relationships before I was married as well. So I think I have some experience in this area. But definitely it adds. It's almost like you're at 50%, and then when you get that woman, the right woman in your life, is like she takes you to like another level, like to 120%. There's just this thing. It's just a thing. I don't know. I can't even. I can't articulate it yet. But I think I'm gonna really sit down and think about it more. So the next time I come on, I'll sound like I have sense. But there's something special there. Something special there, man. Like y'all bring out the best, I think, out of a man. I don't even know how it works, but there's something special. So I don't know. It's like I guess in the Bible when Adam was there, God was like, "Listen, man, you ain't listen. You need Eve right now. You need
Mhm.
Eve. Like you gotta get an Eve because if you ain't get an Eve, I don't know what's gonna happen to you. Let's to get Eve up in this garden or something. But anyways, that's my take. But I don't know for some reason this is going on with me of late. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I don't know what's going on with me. But anyways, that was a tangent. I hope I never just derail the discussion with that random tangent. But it's just my appreciation for what I've
Yeah.
observed.
Well, I appreciate you all sharing that. I don't think that the solution can be just from one person. I
Yeah,
think the solution will come from these conversations,
yeah,
because I can only have my view and that's singular, and
yeah.
I would
Same
have
here.
to hear, a male side of view and,
Yeah,
what he's going through with black women as well. So
yeah.
I think these conversations are important and we'll definitely find a solution eventually.
Yeah, hopefully that's at least starting a conversation. That's my goal. Let's see what happens. Man, so many
Yes.
people are calling.
Thank you.
Can you hear the phone when it rings? Can
I'm
you
sorry?
can you hear can you hear when the call come in when the calls come in?
No,
Oh,
I have my
yeah, it's been
computer
ringing
muted.
off the hook. Like I literally just like I don't know. I think I did like maybe five, six, seven calls already.
Oh,
the,
they're
the,
tired of me. Oh well. No, thank you so much.
no problem.
I'll
Like,
leave you.
and
Take
no,
the next call.
any final thoughts?
No, that's all. I think with this conversation,
Okay,
just having more of these conversations, we'll find the solution.
okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Bye
take
bye.
care. Bye. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna get like just two more calls and that's it. Uh, hello, you're live. Hello,
Hello, how's it going? How's it going?
I'm good. I'm
Good
good. What's your
afternoon.
name?
James.
Okay, James. What's your take, man? Like, these people, like, guys, look, guys, I'm on the phone. Please. Okay. That's the thing. I can't even. I just gotta ignore the calls when they're calling. Like, there's so many. Okay, guys, if you're watching
Yeah.
this right now, I'm on the phone, guys. There's a caller on the line. I know it's delayed on YouTube. There's a caller on the line. Please just don't call. The thing is, I can't like. Oh. Okay, yeah. The thing is because
Mhm.
I'm hearing the phone ringing like literally like it's ringing in my ear like every 2 seconds. Like literally every 2 seconds, someone new is calling. So I'm just asking them just to hold off on calling until you finish, so they can call afterwards. Because I can't hear you when it's ringing. So all right, so you can talk.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the topic is tonight is bridging the gap between male and female and the black community.
Yeah, I guess you could put it like that.
Okay. Well, I have opinions as well. I'm in my early 30s. Grew up in America, black American. Both
Yeah.
my mother and father, black American. I was fortunate enough to live middle class, so I wasn't raised in the hood. Um, but
Yeah.
every suburb has a hood close to it. So, or you go to school with people that are from the hood. And as I grew older, from a young kid, it became more difficult to date black women. Um, I was attracted to black women, loved black women, loved my mother. Mother's always been there for me. Um, but I started to see the difference, say like middle school, high school, started to see a difference. Even friends getting into trouble that were black. And from my perspective, it has a lot to do with what we consume with our eyes, the media, our ears, the music. And we didn't have any guidance. Fathers that made bad decisions, grandfathers, and this has gone back, a few generations because my grandmother, she had issues. Um, I don't know as far as my grandparents, but I would say my grandparents had photos of like slavery. So this is all new to us, and it's, I'm glad we're dealing with it though. So I think we can't deny that it is a psychological issue. We have a lot of issues that haven't been addressed. But not to say that we should play the victim, because there's a lot of opportunities to not only help ourselves, but to get the better and to get on the right track. Self-improvement is number one. Self-realization, reading, education, educating ourselves, not only on careers, but also psychological. What people to deal with, what people not to deal with. When from my perspective, as far as dealing with black women, I notice a lot of them pick, in my opinion, the wrong black men to deal with. The egotistical, narcissistic personalities, thugs, and I understand it. I get it, because these men fit a mold per se. They fit an archetype. Now, in the media, on the television, or entertainment, the successful black man that is slow to temper, takes care of his family, is not promoted as much as the 50 Cents, the Tupacs, the Nipsey Hussles, the gang culture. The gang culture is the most toxic thing in the world, which to enter into a gang, you have to prove yourself by killing someone or robbing someone and bringing that to someone else that's going to bring you into this gang. A lot of people don't know the politics that fall down from the gangs. Now, the gangs are getting all the rules from inside the prison, the top dogs inside of the prisons. They're passing these rules down to little kids, and the kids are being used as pawns. They don't care anything about them. But these kids are lost. They don't have a family. They don't have a home because their parents may have made the wrong decision. So I feel like we need to encourage good behavior instead of glamorizing ignorant behavior amongst peers. I can only
Indeed.
speak for myself, but there's not too many people to say, oh, I have my great-grandfather still to educate me and teach me right from wrong, teach me what to do and what not to do on my path through life based on his mistakes. And that's the gang culture, that's the thug culture. And men, they're to blame as well, because we made the wrong decisions in choosing the wrong women. We choose the girls that are just promiscuous, attitude, there's some self-hate inside for us to want to choose those kind of women. But we're also intimidated when it comes to dealing with black women that are educated. And I feel that black women are also intimidated by educated black men, simply because we're operating off of things that are promoted to us. We're not operating off of logical sense. We're pretty much, living this life where I'm going to do what looks good. I'm not going to do what's smart. So I'm going to being a strong man doesn't mean that he's a thug. Doesn't mean that, I'm not talking about a pushover, but a man that takes care of his family, that stands up for something, that has integrity. I just think women have to look out and make better choices, because there's a lot of black men out there taking care of their families, getting educated, applying themselves. And I think there's a lot of black women the same. I just think black men need to think about the choices they make in the long term. We think about the short term, the gratification, how it's going to look to my friends. Oh, I got with this girl, and I hear what these other races talk about our women when I go to the work field. I hear what they say. I hear them say things like, oh, I just want to screw as many black women as possible, but I can't take them to my family. So they know, they're defiling our women and the Latinos as well. Oh, black women don't want to be with, they're leaving all the black men. They want to be with us because you guys don't take care of them. You guys don't treat them right. And I can only think of those thugs that the women are choosing. Like the women who say, oh, we need a man that doesn't cheat, that doesn't do this. But at the same time, the typical man that's going to cheat are these narcissistic thug men that don't see long term. And those are the men that are being chosen because they have multiple options. Because all these black men want this one thug that's so strong and so tough, and he's all in everybody's face all the time. But he's not willing to stick up for anything long-term integrity. He's not willing to stick up for his family. He's not willing to stick up for a good woman that's been there for him. He's just willing to pass her on for the next. So that's what I think the problem is. Solutions, hopefully they'll come soon. I think, I don't know, it kind of looks like a cleansing process is going on right now because the internet's here. A lot of discussions are being opened that haven't been opened before. So I think a lot of things are changing. A lot of people are waking up, and this hasn't happened before. So I think the solutions are happening right before us. I'm not going to keep the lines up. I'll go ahead and get off, and you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks for calling, man. We really appreciate your thoughts, man. Thanks a lot.
Right, no problem.
All right, take care. Yeah, guys. I'm gonna take one more caller. This week, I think we need to continue this. What do you guys think? Someone was asking. I think it's just my opinion. Was asking if she could call back. You can call back. Let me take this call. Hopefully, if you call back after, we can continue the discussion. Hey, hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for calling. You're
Yeah,
live.
can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. There might be a little bit of a delay. My apologies. I'm calling you from China.
Okay.
And, yeah, I have been kind of just following the chat for maybe about 20 or 30 minutes. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I just kind of wanted to weigh in as a quote unquote black man of color, copper color, native to the Americas. I don't consider myself from Africa per se, but that's a different story. But I would want to say that first and foremost, for me, similar to the last caller, and big shout out to the last caller, he shared a lot of great nuggets in his opinions. I grew up in a fairly middle class situation about an hour outside of San Francisco in the East Bay. And currently I'm about 34 years old, never been married, never had children. I'm prior military as well. I've traveled abroad for over 10 years, and I currently live abroad, and I've been living in China full-time for going on 7 years. I've been to at least 20 countries, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I've come to the conclusion recently, within the past, say, 2 years, that so long as I have health, life, and, everything is copacetic how it's been, when the time comes for me to marry and to have children, for me personally, I want that to be with somebody who resembles and has a similar type of genetic that I have. Basically, I'm not into swirling. I'm not into mixing my seed. I don't want to create hybrid children. I have an older brother. He's married to a full-blooded Hawaiian. I have a sister. She's married to a guy who's like Filipino. And that's cool. Like, for people that, say, oh, love is love, and you just follow your heart, and whoever you want to be with is, cool. But one of the things I put in the comments, which was low IQ and EQ individuals, people, they attract low IQ and EQ people as well. So I think that a part of this whole situation is who attracts who. Of course, we know that there's a lot of, past stuff with, slavery, as one of the female callers earlier had mentioned. There's a lot of trauma and past scars and wounds that have yet to be properly healed. So it is no surprise that a quote-unquote black girl growing up never had a proper structure in her home from her biological father and mother, where she saw them in the home every day. He was always there, supportive of her. There wasn't abuse, and she grew up in a protected, sound environment. Because had she, or most quote-unquote black women, and I hate to generalize, I don't want to come off like that, but had, that been the case, then she probably wouldn't grow up or be at the point in her life where she's in her 20s or 30s or however old she is and is questioning or she is kind of raising an eyebrow to the fact of, hey, the next guy that I see or that I date, will he protect me? Because she's never been covered in protection. She doesn't know what that's like. So a lot of it, I think, is father rooted. It is rooted in male and patriarchy. From a woman's perspective, they seek that security and stability and provisions, which they should. That's natural. That's normal. And for a number of reasons that other callers have talked about, that we all know about, from social engineering to, like the previous caller said, gang-related activities, drugs, this or that, the quote-unquote black man has been removed from the picture in general, so to speak. For me personally, I've had my father there my whole life. He's still married to my mother, and it's been almost 35 years. He never had his father in his life, and she never had her father in her life. So they kind of said, hey, early on, we're going to break that cycle, and we're going to be there for our children. For me, I grew up being able to appreciate, those efforts and that sacrifice, but also taking it a little step further, saying, you know what, I'm going to choose not to swirl. I'm going to choose not to mix my seed and lay down with these other races of people who are taking advantage and have taken advantage of my people. And I would almost allude it to example, real quick before I hang up. And when I look at photos and pictures of my grandfather, my great-grandfather, if I were to bring home somebody that was European, if I were to bring home somebody who's from China, which I'm in mainland China right now, that wouldn't necessarily sit well with them. And I have to somewhat, to a certain degree, respect and honor the genetics and the DNA that I have flowing through my veins and my blood, because in their time it was not allowed, or they would just never even think about it. And also, when we look at, let's say, for a quick example, let's say animals. I had this with one of my students the other day who's like in her master's program. She had came back from Italy, and she was like so hyped, and she was like, yeah, I was out there in Italy, and I was taking pictures of all the guys, and they're so hot, this, that, and the other. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Who did you go with? She was like, oh, my mom. And she was like, yeah, but my mom told me that I must marry a Chinese. And I said, I said, why is that? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I said, you do know. And I said, here's the deal, whether your mom said it or not. It's the same like animals. And we'll take a dog as an example. Why is it that dogs are worth more when they're full-blooded? When people go look for dogs, they don't necessarily go look for the mutts. In any kind of situation in any kind of a breed of dog that person is looking for, it could be a German Shepherd, whatever kind of dog, they're mostly looking for the 100% pure blood. And 9 times out of 10, Renzo, it costs more than the mutt, than the hybrid. Of course, there are hybrid dogs out there that people can buy or pick up on the street or get from an animal shelter, bring them home. They're cuddly, they're cute. Oh, they got good hair and all of that. But most people, they want the real pure blood, as close to pure as possible. And it's interesting, the last time I went to America, I'm from the Bay, so the last time I went back to Oakland was 2017. And it was just amazing to see, like, even more and more and more, like, just interracial couples, swirlers. And then you'll have, like, the most, and this is not all the time, but it's just more and more prevalent. There could be, the natural-haired black cis star, and she got her Chuck Taylors on, but she's holding hands with a white, And to me, personally, like I said, I have to respect and honor my DNA and past, and how dare I break off or dilute my blood because, I want to have a child that has good hair, or because, she just makes me feel good. No, that just means that I have to just keep cool, and I'll find a right Nubian queen, but every woman that is of color is not a queen, and every man, or male, I should say, because there's a difference between male and men, he is not a king. And so I think that the other last part I'll say is that we have to look in the eyes of the future. You go around the world, and I know because you're in Japan and you've been, in Asia and other places, but you see fathers everywhere. I see fathers riding a bicycle, taking their children to school, no problem. The fatherhood has to be paramount. So what I'm saying is that before laying down with anyone, regardless of color, background, men and women, male and female, really look into, can you see yourself procreating with this person for the betterment of your offspring. And if you can't, then 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't have nothing to do with that person. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna just leave it at that. My name is Randall. Very nice to be on here. Thank you for opening up the dialogue. And yeah, you guys have a good day.
Thanks for your thoughts, man.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, take
Peace
care,
out.
Randall. Yeah, guys. So as you guys can see, so I'm opening the floor, right? So people call with different opinions, varied opinions, and all that. So we're just opening it. So like, come on, and we'll let you say your piece. Hello, hello. Oh, okay. So just one, I guess one person. It's gonna just one more call, guys, because I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon. So just one more call, one more caller. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for calling. What's your name?
This is Gizmo. What's good, Ranzo? What do you seeing there, Jetty?
Well, who is this? Who is this?
It's Gizmo.
Oh, Gizmo.
Pure
Oh,
cows, baby.
oh, from
Pure
Japan,
cows,
right?
baby.
Okay, okay. What's
Yes,
up?
sir. What's up?
I'm good. I'm
How you
good.
doing? All right. Now, let me. All right, we got a lot of knowledge. Big up my dude from China and all that. But let's bring some of the ignorance. I was just playing. But yo, on this whole black men cheat, dog. Black men don't cheat. I don't know what y'all talking about, man. Black men, no black boys cheat. Back in my day when I was wilding as a youngin', I was cheating. But now, I'm good. I've had
Okay.
enough relationships where I lost
What changed?
many
What
good
changed?
women.
What changed?
But yo, I became a man. I lost good women. I had women that loved me, that would ride for me, be down for me. And
Yeah.
I lost them more than once, like 3 of them. And at that, and I was like, yo, it's me now. Like I gotta better myself. So, like, of course, if you're gonna lay with someone, like homie said, and you got to think about the federation and all that. Dog, when I'm like 20 years old, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about getting that box, man. And that's. I mean, it sounds a little, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Of course, when you get to the age that you're a man and you're thinking of, like a man, you're about to, procreate. You want to start a family. You need to do this for your
Wait, you
family.
think age is
And
a
you might risk all of that.
wait? Question: do you think age is a man, or is
What's
it
up?
a mentality that's a man?
Age is a mentality of being a man. And me, a late bloomer, coming from the Caribbean. You know how we islanders does move. We does move a little bit different, and in our social norms is a little bit different. What is considered normal in society is a little bit different because you
Understood.
can move a certain
Understood.
way there that you can't move there. But yeah, of course, like some people younger, like you might have that. When I get older, I want this, I want this, I want this, and that can start from a very young age. That can start from like 16 or something. But it kicked in a little bit later for me.
Okay.
It kicked in a little bit later for me. So, like I say, black men don't cheat. Black boys would cheat. When you come to a point in your life, or even at a younger age, that you realize, like, this is what I want. I want to start a strong family. I don't need all this other side stuff. And
Yeah.
cheating can cause you to lose that. I mean, if you have a wife and child and a sound, safe household, you risk losing that by cheating. So I will say, black men do not cheat. Secondly, I'm gonna have to talk about that hybrid thing, bro.
Yeah, the thing is,
I'm gonna have to talk about
I
that
want
hybrid
people to
thing.
know. I want people to know when people call in, I let them talk, right? So I'm not. So like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
silence does not mean is not tantamount to consent, right? I'm letting people talk. They're giving their take
Of
because
course, of
we
course.
open it. So yeah, just so people know, because I might be like,
Yeah.
you ain't saying nothing about this or that. I'm just like, I'm letting people talk.
Yeah, just please let me talk my ignorance. Let me talk my ignorance, right? Because I ignorant bad. But anyway, big up on my Trinidadian people. Big up on my Jamaicans. Everybody from the Caribbean. I love all your bad. But yeah, as far as the hybrid thing, like I mean, if you look genetically for most people that are descendants of slaves, you may find that have you may stem from different pools. Not knocking dating just black women, but me as a Caribbean man, my family is extremely diverse, so I feel a bit about that hybrid thing. Of course, if you could get the full house, you could get them four aces. Like I'm just kind of rambling, but my father always said that you know, if you have a good hand, play a good hand. If you have three aces in your hand, play them three aces. You could turn around and wait for that fourth ace to come. It could eventually come. but you might sit down and wait for how long? How long you will sit down and wait for that? So if you got a good hand, play that good hand. And depending on my situation here, I'm not co-signing this. This is just me. I live in Japan. There's not a lot of. Ideally, I would like to marry a black Trinidadian woman, but considering that I'm here, it's not that available to me. And I could sit down and wait until it comes around and just just be old forever or whatever. So.
Okay.
Yes, Trinidadians are not like that.
So what if, for instance, since you just said that, what if like someone back in Trinidad watches your videos, right? And for some reason, some way, shape, or form, she connects with you via maybe Facebook or Instagram, and you like her. I guess it complicates things now because she's far, right? So that might be. But if there's like a thing that goes on, what would happen then? Would you be? Well, then again, love actually. If we're talking about like if you fall in love, then I think personally, love. You can travel. You do crazy. People do crazy stuff for love. You move from one country to another country for love. So love has that power. So I guess okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that would just work itself out. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but in that case, it would be like it would get the 4 aces in a deck. You need that's a full house hand you have. But if you had them three of a kind, that three of a kind, and you could play that,
I understand.
Anyway, let me get out about Caribbean though. But like it all depends on the situation and the cards that you're dealt. In poker and blackjack, if you have 19, you play that 19. You can sit there and wait for 21 to come and bust and not get it, but like you gotta strike when the iron's hot, when the timing's right. Play the cards that you're dealt. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I understand. Do you wanna? I know you're speaking sort of metaphorically. Do you wanna just speak in a plain English for people who might not be following? I follow what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just for those who might be like some people. Maybe everyone understands, but I just want to make sure that they understand.
Yeah, but anyways, the point I wanted to double down on is black men don't cheat. When you're an adult and you realize what you have to lose, what you have to gain, what you benefit from, it's the pros and cons, the benefits and the detriments. At some point, just getting some side pussy. I don't know if I can use that language, but
I know you
getting
can't
some
actually.
side pussy, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, but the part, no, that's fine. That was plain. But the part where we were talking about playing your hands, right? Like you got like 3 aces. So that part you're talking about, like if you have like a good, like where you are, you're in a certain place and you're just making the best of your circumstance. Pretty much, that's what you're saying, right? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah,
you can.
That's
Okay. Do you want to say it in your own words or?
Okay, so all right, I'll say it non-Trinidadian, but depending, like my father said, it's all about the cards that you're dealt. If you're dealt a hand of cards, and in that deck you have 2 aces, 3 aces, and that's the best for that situation. Sure, you can wait for that 4th ace to come, which would be the perfect. Like nothing's going to beat 4 aces, the absolute best of the best, or you could just play the cards that you're dealt. And in my situation, I'm talking more for those that are, the perfect woman for me would be a black woman, preferably from Trinidad and Tobago, but from the Caribbean, a black woman from the Caribbean. But I'm in Japan, and I can't really find that at the moment. So if something else were to come that fit everything else in my checkbox, ride for me, down for me, always has my back, supportive, kind, can possibly be a good mother, then I'm going to roll with that.
Understood.
But if I were to go back to the United States and I was in that situation, I was dealt another hand, then I would play that hand as well. So it's all about the timing, striking when the iron's hot. It could just be my personality as well. I just roll with what's good I'm given. If it's like 2 jacks or something like that, I might not play that. I might hold out for something better. Holding out for the 4 aces is not something that I would do personally.
No, I understand what you mean. So that, I just wanted to clarify, just for those people who may not know that you're talking about like actually like women and relationship. But I get it. I understand 100% completely what you're saying. And even when you said the part about real men don't cheat or black men don't cheat, I get that. Because the thing is, as you said, when you have a good woman, like trust me, they're not. Well, I can't say they're not, but I've had like different relationships before I met my wife, and you understand like like when you meet a good woman, it's and then you don't want to
Yeah.
jeopardize that, right? And if you do certain things, you're going to jeopardize that, and you don't want that. And then the whole complication of having, like I've seen it in my own family in different places, like one man with multiple women and kids with each. It's a complicated situation. Can you imagine? Like it makes your
Yeah.
life more challenging to have like 4 or 5 different women with one kid each. Like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
One family, like
Especially,
one unit is a lot of work,
yeah,
much
especially
less
us coming
multiple.
from the Caribbean.
Yeah,
Especially us coming from the Caribbean, that's
yeah.
like so common in the Caribbean.
Trust
I
me.
have so many siblings that I have never met and will never meet. And the
Who
ones that
knows?
I have met, that like we're not even close because we had different mothers, we grew up in different households, so we don't have that connection. And every time I meet my dad's like I'm drinking with my dad. He's like, hey, you have like a brother in Sweden, because my dad was a old school
Yeah.
Caribbean playboy, right?
I had
And that's
people. I had
not
people
dope,
show up.
man.
I had people. Well, I had one person that show up to my house in Jamaica, and it was like, "Oh, I'm your sister." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
I was like,
man,
"What?"
that's not. I don't like them. I hate
I'm
that
like,
because
even now, I'm just like, I
it
don't know
just
if I believed. I'm just
uh,
like, I don't know if I believe y'all, man. I'm like, that yeah, that so that happened to me once. I don't even know like if that
yeah,
was resolved, but I kind of just blocked up my. I wasn't even. I probably needed to like follow up and find out like if that's if true or not. I don't know, but that happened a long time ago. But yeah, but as you said, and I concur with that. It complicates things, right? So I get it. Trust me,
yeah,
I understand that 100%. Yeah, man.
yeah. But yo, work, Ronzo, man, big up, man. I love what you're doing, dog. It's really, really dope to see someone from the Caribbean doing great things for the diaspora, essentially, man. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Big up everyone. Someone saying, what, Nazis? What are you, Nazi Indians? What we all talking about in the chat, man? Y'all wildin', but thank you for letting me get my idea out there. Hope I didn't make it too difficult to understand with my Caribbeanness,
No,
but
no, no, no,
keep doing
no,
what you're
no.
doing. Big up everybody in the chat, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. No, your accent was fine. Everything was fine. It was just the when it was you were using this the parable kind of right with the cars. That I'm just like just making sure that people understand that you're talking about people. Like, yeah. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
me. I just wanted clarity for people listening. That was it. I understood everything you were saying.
Yeah, no scene, no scene. Keep doing what you're doing, boss.
All right, take care, man. Respect, blessings.
All right, take care. Later.
All right,
Peace.
guys. So, okay. Um. So, guys, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to end it there. I know. Guys, I know we can go on. My camera is at literally the battery is like blinking, so it's about to. Oh snap! Oh snap! We got like okay, we got like 2 calls at the same time. Yeah. The camera's about to die, so we're gonna conclude here. We're gonna pick up. So we're gonna this is gonna be part one. We're gonna continue this, and the next time we're having it, my wife is gonna be with me as well. But there's so much that needs to be covered, and what I'm doing is I'm opening the line, right? I'm not agreeing or disagreeing unless I say I agree or unless I say I disagree. I'm just giving people the opportunity to say just to have a discussion so that both sides can understand where each side is coming from, and hopefully there can be some understanding that will lead to a solution. So that's what this is about. We're going to continue this, guys. This has been the Melanated Files Podcast, episode number 11. Remember, if you liked the video, please like it. I'm trying to rush because the camera is going to die. If you like the video, please like it, and remember to subscribe to this channel for weekly videos on the Black experience across the globe. We come on Saturdays Japan time, JST, at 10 a.m. That's the time. Sometimes a little bit later, like maybe between 10 and 11. We'll come on sometime within that 1 hour time frame. But guys, this is something that is very, very important. We're solutions driven. This is a solutions driven podcast, and if we're gonna move forward as a community, we need to move forward as a unit. Of course, both black women, black men, we need to come together and move forward. Like that's the way it's gonna be. And if we want to change our position, we know if you're a black person, you understand the way the world perceive us. And again, our mission is to repair the image of black people across the globe, right? To inspire black people as well to do more. That's what we're about, and we're just we're small or whatever, but it's a concerted effort. And if every person does something or do their part, I'm pretty sure we can do it. It's possible. We just gotta just accept nothing less than a solution. We just have to accept nothing less than the change that we want to see, and even more importantly, be that change that we want to see. It can be done. There are psychological elements. Of course, there's so many different forces or whatever, but it can be done. If you have that mindset, trust me, like it can be done. Um, so that's it, guys. Who's this? Esash TYG, thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming on. I'll catch you guys again next week for part 2 of this, the podcast. Those of you guys who are listening in podcast, and thank you so much for listening. And I catch you guys next week. Bye for now. And let me just drop this in the chat real quick before this thing dies on me. If you want to listen to the audio version of the podcast, you can go to this link. It seems like it's dropping frames. I think that should be it. Sorry. Yeah, anchor.fm/MFiles. It seems like, is it dropping frames? I think it's dropping frames. Oh, we're losing frames. Oh, well, I can't fix that now. Thanks, RBR Network. We appreciate it for the $5. Thank you so much. Guys, again, thanks for coming on. And continue the discussion wherever you are. Start the discussion where you are, and let's just solve all the problems we're facing. There's a solution. We just got to find it. Bye for now, guys. Thanks for watching. You can do live streams without your camera. Yeah, I can. I realize that if this dies, I probably could just do it with my voice and maybe a thumbnail or something. I just realized that frame rates are dropping. I got to fix this within this software I'm using, but I can't do that now. But guys, yeah. So bye for now, guys. We'll come back again next week. I know I said that like 5 times, but see you guys. See you guys. I know you guys want me to continue, but next week we'll be back on. Bye for now.